do was eat those meals again. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to go back to normal food. And I will tell you that the day of competition, I weighed 141.3. I lost a pound the next day, even though I ate pasta and burger and stuff somehow. But in 7 days, I went up 8.9 pounds on the scale in 7 days. And I was like, what? Like, how did that happen? Because, like, but she told me, she's like, you be careful. Your body is going to soak all that up. Like, it will just, but I knew a lot of it was water weight. And we already had like a barbecue plan for the Saturday after as like a celebratory thing. So she kind of told me how to plan for it and how to eat and stuff. But I think it was sodium. I've already lost like 4 pounds of that. I think today I was like 145. So I gained 4 pounds in a week about, I guess. But yeah, your body just like, so when you finish competition for the next 2 weeks, for those of you that want to compete and don't know, you've got to go back to the diet and slowly add back in your carbs and do that reverse diet very carefully. I've done reverse diets before, but it was never this strict. I didn't have to be that strict because I wasn't so strict before because I wasn't actually prepping for a competition. I was just bulking and cutting as the seasons went by, and so that was definitely a shocker. And I have never in my life experienced the feeling of being extremely full and incredibly starving at the same time. Like I have never had that. So this last week, I would eat a meal and it'd be towards the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, I got like 3 meals left. So I'd wait 30 minutes and eat another meal because I got to get all the calories in. And then I would just be so full. But all I wanted to do was eat everything in the fridge. Like I wanted to eat all that potato salad and eat that yogurt and like just everything. I wanted to eat all of it. And then of course we have all this food left over from the barbecue. And so I can't eat it because I had it at the barbecue, but I can't have it afterwards. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was so hard. So,
That's
but
that's the tough thing about being a bodybuilder because you know what, the diet is the most important part about you developing your body. It's
yeah.
necessary for it to grow, and it's about eating the right food. You just can't eat all anything. But sometimes, like you had a barbecue and everything was smelling good,
Hmm.
like go you start acting like Chris Rock and New Jack TV. Pookie said, "Be calling my name, man. Be calling my name." But you know what? Because you got into this, you understand there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make, especially when it comes down to your diet and what you eat. Here we got a man, BT. Shout out to him. He says, "Hey George and Cara, hope all is well. I have your tattoos, Cara. How many do you have, and what are their meaning?"
Okay, I have a lot of tattoos. My very first one was when I was 18. I wanted to get a tattoo, but I was raised like in a Baptist family, and in my household, you don't get tattoos. And so I wanted one, but so I told myself, I was like, well, when I turn 21, if I still want a tattoo, I'll get one. Like I'm just that type of person. I try to make good decisions, and so when I turned 21, I still wanted one. So guess what? Me and a couple of friends and my husband, we all went and got a tattoo together. And so I got this one tattoo on my lower abdomen, which was a huge mistake. It's like it was this little tribal thing. It honestly looked kind of like a ninja star. If you look at some of my posts in like my posing practice bikini, you'll see it. But I didn't have my tattoo artist covered up with a new tattoo because it was my first tattoo, But then I had kids and it like stretched because there actually used to be a little spot in the middle that had like no ink in it, but now it's just all black. So, because my stomach got huge. I gained 75 pounds with both of my pregnancies. Like my stomach, my kids were huge. My kids were over 10 pounds when they were born. They were ginormous. It's just in the family, I guess, but very tall and everything. But so that was my first one. And then several years back, I kind of went through a rough patch when I left one of my jobs, and I got this lotus flower on my wrist with like some henna and a mandala. They also like symbolize good stuff with that. And that was when I met Michael Norris, my tattoo artist, and he did that one for me. And that was kind of awesome because it was a small tattoo, but he usually does large work. And that was kind of my in. So I was now his client. So, then I went in and I decided I love peacocks. Like my whole life, I've thought it'd be so cool if someday I had land and had peacocks living on it. Like I just love peacocks. They're so beautiful. And they apparently, like, people say that peacocks can eat poisonous berries and things like that, but then they still live and thrive and they're beautiful. So it's like kind of like that thing. And so I decided to get a peacock tattoo, and I told him, I said, I want one on my body and make it as realistic and actual size as you can. So down the whole back, my back, over my glute, and onto my thigh is a peacock. And he did it on a cherry blossom branch, and it's beautiful. It's a huge tattoo. It took me 3 years to finish it because I started out going once a month, but tattoos are expensive. So and my husband and I would go together. I would do half a day and he would do half a day. So it was like double cost too. And so we started going like every other month to get and do, we would split a day. I would do half a day, he would do half a day. And so it took me 3 years to finish the peacock tattoo. But then I was kind of like, well, I'm the only one that doesn't get to see it. Like I never get to see it because it's on my back. And we would go to like pool parties and stuff. And I'd noticed that people were like looking at me. And I'm like, what are they looking at? Like, why are people looking at me? And I was like, oh, it's my huge tattoo, because I forget it's there. But then the peacock, I can still cover it. I can cover it with clothes, right? And so not much of my family knew I had that tattoo, I guess. But then I just decided I wanted a sleeve, and I don't know why, but I didn't want color on my arms. I know that most people try to make them all match, but that's what I wanted. So I asked Michael if he would do a style where all the shading is like little line work. And he hadn't done that style before. He usually does more Japanese style and stuff like that. But he did it and he's like, I love this. I'm so glad we did this. He was like, I want to do this more often. Like he loved the shading like that. And I got the heart because, cardiac ultrasound is what I did, and I loved doing cardiac ultrasounds. But it was just time for me to move on because it was sitting like this all day. Because you have to press into the patient for 45
Mhm.
minutes while working the machine. And this shoulder just started bothering me after, just so bad. I've done everything, and still years after scanning, it still bothers me, and I can't get it
Mhm.
fixed. But
Well,
uh,
as said again, as a cardiac patient, I do appreciate what y'all do for us.
thank you. Thank
I
you.
mean, I know it's a tough job, like any job, and it's a lot of wear and tear on you, but I do appreciate it.
Hmm.
Here we got here from my man,
Yeah.
Jeremy says this is you might check out Haley Perry. She's a pro women's physique competitor. She and her husband have just started their own spice company, Perry Spices. Might help with the flavoring. Yeah, because that's her husband.
Oh,
Her and
I'll
her
write
husband, they
that
just
down.
yeah, his husband also he competes in men's, classic physique, and that is I forgot his name. I know it's back of my head, but I interviewed Haley a while back. She's a nice lady. We really talked about, like
Hmm.
we had the conversation about bodybuilding like this one because
Hmm.
that's why I
Yeah.
enjoy when I get you ladies on and talk to you and get your thoughts on the sport and also have a little fun because this is one thing we want to be. I want to be also informative, also fun and we
Yeah.
can learn something because people don't understand about this sport. And back in the day, you remember, it used to be on television, but it's not on television anymore. And then, it's not as popular. You look at mainstream sports. Even if you come IB Pro, you'd be lucky if you can make a living from it because it's not like, if you look at football, basketball, baseball, it's not a
Hmm.
very lucrative sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Towards the end of my cut, I was kind of, or my, like getting in my prep, I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I need to find something. Cause she told me I could use like sauces and stuff as long as they were zero sugar and low sodium. And I was using some spices, but they had a lot of sodium. So I'll definitely check these out because I had to stop using them because the Kinder ones had a lot of sodium. I did find some sauces though, but they weren't delivered until after I was done because it took a while to get there. But they're called New Sauce, Nusuce is how it's spelled. They're really good. I've been eating them now since I was done with that, but I have added those and those are awesome. And I also love the Elevate cream of rice. That's like what I looked forward to every day was my pre-workout meal with the Elevate cream of rice. It's spelled ELEV and then the number 8. And then Ashley has a discount code for that too. It's like A Jones, A for Ashley and Jones, but I think it's like $10 off or 10% off. But those rices are so good, but they're a little on the sweet side for me. So what I do is do half of the Elevate cream of rice and then half just unflavored from the store and mix it because it takes the sweetness level down a little bit for me. But that's something that really helped me get through was that because I loved that meal.
You want me to give you a little hack? This is something I learned from a lady. You can get regular rice and grind it in a coffee grinder, and you
Hmm.
can you can make it to like cream of rice. You can get a big bag, good old fashioned Mahatma, and just grind it down, and it saves you a little cost because like especially as a competitor, there's a lot of expense to it. Not just
Yeah.
your food, your training, everything, your coaches, and sometimes it's good trying to find little things to help you save a little money, especially as a beginner.
I'm big on convenience for things, especially during prep, because I even would buy pre-made rice in containers that you microwave, and then I would measure my 90 grams out of it, and then put the other half in the fridge for the next day. My dog also has Cushing's disease, so I have to cook all of her food as well. So she basically eats what I eat on prep. So when I would cook tilapia and chicken, I would make extra for her. So she eats the tilapia, she eats the chicken, she eats, like, if I have like 10 grams of rice left over, that goes in her food. So, because she has to have very low fat in her diet. We almost lost her a couple months ago because that's when we found out she had Cushing's disease. But yeah, so I'm very big on convenient stuff like that where I can just measure it out. And the flavor though of the Elevate is what really really helps, because you just want something with flavor towards
Yeah,
the end of the cuts.
it's like this. Water is nice. It's good to be hydrated, but it can be
Yeah.
boring. You
Yeah.
like this is one switch. You can put a little piece of fruit in it, like that, a little lemon, some orange. That helps it. Give that because you know what, as a bodybuilder, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice of good tasting food. Like one of my things, my favorite is I love Chinese food. Like you go to the
Mm.
buffet and you get the everything I did. You get the chicken,
All
you
the
get
salt
shrimp.
though.
Yeah, I know, but it tastes so good. You eat it, it goes down your throat. But I
Mhm.
understand. I try not to eat much of it because I ain't had anything in about a couple of months. But it's good to every now and then have something which is some
Oh
really
yeah, I
tasty.
think you should always let yourself live a little every now and then. Like I said, I do the 80-20 rule. I try to keep 20% of my life as fun and healthy, for that side, and then try to stick to the other. But
Yeah.
I do want to throw in that something I started recently, and it kind of postponed because I was prepping for the competition, but I did start an Etsy. It's Viking Queen Strong on Etsy. I have an email to vikingqueenstrong@gmail.com. So I basically, when I started my Instagram, it's because I've always wanted to help other people. I felt like people were constantly coming to me, like, how do you do it? What do you do? What do you eat? And so I was like, I'm just going to start an Instagram and show them, right? But then it kind of became like a big fit fam, which I absolutely love. And I do have people reach out for questions and I help them out, and I'm happy to do that. But so I'm one of those people that I want to give back. And I guess I'm the Viking queen and the queen takes care of her people, right? So I basically sell just transfers with my logo on them, or I'll put it on a shirt for you. And it's just the cost of the item plus $5. And then the $5 goes into an account and sits there until I have enough money. And then I will be giving away free gym memberships, free nutritional counseling, free wellness resources for those in need. I'm hoping this will grow and take off. I do have things like patches for your Wolfpack backpacks that you can put on there, stickers, and I did an order yesterday of like 4 different transfers, but I basically send them to you and then you can just iron them on your shirt. Can you even see that on there? This is a glitter
Yeah.
one, but I send you instructions, and then it just goes to give back to the fitness community, help people out that are trying to get involved, trying to get started, but can't afford the cost of it. So look it up and support if you can.
Yeah, that's why I said, guys, if you follow this interview and this live, her social media link is in the description. You can go to her IG, you can find everything you need to know. Reach out in support, reach out in interest, because you know what? It helps these ladies in the long run. It helps not them, also their brand, because you know what? This is again, bodybuilding is not as lucrative as you look at other sports. If you're the lucky percent that get to Olympia, still you still have to try to make a career out of it. I mean, we like I said earlier, we discussed how like men's open can make like about nearly $1 million, while women they don't make that much because of the cost of it. But
Hmm.
you know what? If you love this sport, like ladies have told me, they love it. It's not about the money for them. It's about finding something that's a passion, and they
Hmm.
love the passion. It'd be great if there's more financial benefits or just any other benefits like incentives for y'all competitors. If it was more like where you have okay, I have something to take care of the cost of everything else. Like if I go to a show, I don't have to pay so much of my travel fees. My bikini is covered. I mean, even when you go to a doctor and you get yourself checked out, hey, you do your blood work. You can do, check on your
Yeah, I get
everything.
labs every 3 months because I'm very big
Yeah,
on health.
yeah, that's the thing I think that needs to be done in bodybuilding because you know what, people's always going to have the issue with it. It's always going to point in it because of the whole thing about steroids. But Steroids is in everything. It's in every major sport. I do content on MMA, and I know MMA fighters have been busted for taking it.
Mhm.
Baseball players, basketball players, boxers. It's just it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding. Olympic
Yeah,
level competitors use it, but it's so easy to pick on body because y'all are doing something that's it's more of pageant flexing than a
yeah,
real kind of sport.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about steroids, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. It's not for everybody, but like I
Yeah,
said, but it's mostly it helps. It's a very small percentage of your process. There's PEDS, it's this. It helps you recover, but not everybody does it. Everybody's natural. It takes
yeah,
a lot more time for natural competitors to put those on sides compared to the more enhanced competitors.
yeah,
But if you are someone who understands the aspects of bodybuilding, who understands the work you got to put in, consistency, the diet, the discipline, then go for it. If you're not, it's not for everybody. Like Ronnie Coleman, like a gentleman you were hanging out with at the show, one Mr. Ronnie Coleman, he says like, bodybuilding's not for everybody. He says like this, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one does that heavy ass weight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I made him bite the medals with me. I was like, "Hold on, you got to bite them with me."
Yeah, he just turned. I think it was maybe a week before he just turned 61 years old. This man 61, and
Mhm.
he's a legend.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So, folks, we're not going to her car too much longer here. I know she's a busy lady. She got things to do. She's, getting ready. She's in her reverse diet. She's working on growing. She wants to get off the high heels, guys. He wants to get off those clop hoppers. Get off those clop
Yeah, I
hoppers.
say I want
Yeah.
off of them, but then I do pull. So, and I will
Yeah.
say, pole shoes that are like the 8 inch are much easier to walk in than the ones they have us wear on stage for figure.
It's like I said again. I've seen some of those ladies. They get up here, and they be on
Mhm.
the stage, and I've seen it.
And
I've seen it. I
and
know.
I do have an account for that too. It's just Viking Queen pole. That's where my entire pole journey is there from the first day I started and didn't even know how to stand next to the pole all the way up to now. So I've only been doing it a year, but the whole journey is documented there. So
All right. So, folks, if you want to check out her social media, sites, go to her IGs, which here in the live stream description. Check her out. Show support, guys. Don't be weird. Be respectful. This is a lady. She got kids. She got a husband. I know you guys out there because I'm one of y'all. Must appear smell. You love these buff, beautiful women, but the thing is, I say it like this, guys. You get more with a silk glove than an iron fist. I know what you're doing to iron fist. So, madam, what would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding in the future?
I would love to get a pro card. That's my goal. In my head, I'm like 2 years. I'm doing it in 2 years. Will that happen? I have no clue. And honestly, I have no goal to be an Olympian, but Ashley is an Olympian. And so, literally, after I hired her, I changed everything in my phone to be like the folder. I have everything for gym in, everything says Road to Olympian. So, they say to set your goals high. So, just put it there. Even if the goal is higher than what you actually want, it's still something to reach for, right? So that's that's my